What's up, guys? It's Chris. Welcome to VHP Engines. So, I have a mashup of topics here. They're all related to the same shit. But I came across a couple of questions, and one of them, I want to go share a link to an older video. And when I went to, sometimes if it's really old, like especially this one was like 3 years old. So we're talking about like back in the day, like beginning days. So I went to go watch it, to rewatch it, to see my execution and to check the topic on it, see if it properly still held to the same beliefs I would have today before sharing it, right? And I got about 30 seconds into watching that video and I had to cut it off. I couldn't handle it. I was like, I can't do it. It's so terrible. So I decided that, I'm thinking about making an updated version of the video. It's only a 5-minute thing. And I figured I can pull off some other topics. So this is going to be rehash for some stuff, but I think that it's been scattered out over the years enough to where it's not going to be too repetitive. So the topic being, which engine should you build, right? What project car to go with, and one more thing that's not really a question, it's just something I add along to that, and just helping to choose which one. So my general thing is, like, if you're trying to save money and you want to start a project, what should you do? You should build what you got. So if you got yourself a single cam car, you should do something with that single cam. Now the problem is with that, then there goes back to the other thing, which would be like typically the third topic, which is pick a horsepower goal and then build your car based off that horsepower goal. But that's also a little bit more complicated than just what it comes at face value. That has levels to it. So if you're asking what should you build and you're a first time builder, or if you're first time going into a project, then whatever you get as a car that's a project that you decide that I want to do something with this car. If you're a new guy, a beginner, and you're on a budget, you're experimenting for the first time, then build what you got in that car. Especially if it's already running, because it's not gonna cost you anything other than the components you need to put inside that block to build. You're gonna pull it out, and then at the end of it, when you're finished, you're gonna put that same swap right back in. So you don't need to go out and buy axles, transmission, any of that new shit. So that's step one, right? But I guess the preliminary step to that would be, like, if you're in the market for a project car and you haven't got anything yet, you want to do something but you don't know what it is. Which car should you pick, or which platform should you go with? That also depends on your horsepower goal, what you're expecting to get. It goes back to build towards your plan of whatever power you want to make, right? And also, again, it depends on whether you're budget minded or not. If you're somewhat budget minded, but you're going into like a little bit of an advanced project, like let's say you want to do a K swap. For me, if you're on the budget and you want to do a K, the easiest way to go is EG DC Del Sol, because all those use the same mounts, and then that's the first one. They all use the same mounts. The second reason being is for those chassis, you do not have to swap out the subframe, and that's a big thing. That's a whole lot of extra work and parts that you don't have to buy. So that's just one consideration. Like, hey, I want to do this. Okay, well, how do I want to do this? I was like, I want to go K. I want to keep it easy. So you go EGDC Del Sol. Things like that. I wouldn't necessarily say that turbo is off the table for a beginner type project, because there's, again, levels to that as well. You want to do stock boost. You want to do high boost, like big horsepower boost. You want to do medium horsepower boost. And then, so if you're going to go turbo and you got a single cam, do I want to do stock boost and am I okay with 200 horsepower? Or do I build this block and go for 400 horsepower? Do I want to swap to a B series and have that 350 horsepower on a stock block? Or do I go to K and go to 500 horsepower on a stock block? And there's so many different routes and paths and options. So it's never as straight up as what should I do? I think that definitely if you're a beginner builder, and I would assume that you are, if you're watching this really, is that you really just want to go off of what you got. The second, I guess the final thing to drive this point home is, if you're a beginner builder and you have a daily driver car and you want to modify that daily driver, I know you don't want to hear this, but I would probably say, I would strongly recommend you not to. Now, you can still work towards turning that into a project, but you got to do it in a smart fashion, right? You're going to do a project, you want to piece something together. You cannot just dive into that car and down it unless you can go get another car or you have something already on the side. If you have a daily driver that you need to drive to go do your daily shit in your life, then you need to build something on the side. So if you want to build a new engine, you get another engine on the side, you build it on the side, and then you put it in when it's done. If you have a turbo kit, you want to piece together a turbo kit, piece it all together before you put it on. Make sure you have everything you need to make that car run in as quick as possible, so that way when the time comes to put it down, it's not down very long. You always have to plan for the unexpected, even to this day, and I'm very good with time management, to be honest. I am very good with it. Even to this day, me being as good as I am with factoring things for time management, I still underestimate how much time things are going to take from time to time, because you always run into shit that you don't plan for. So yeah, those are all things to consider. It's just there's no rule of thumb. It's just kind of like a base guide. There's some things you consider if you're going to start a project, things you want to do. I know if everybody tends to bounce around on things they want to do. Even the more advanced guys, they tend to want to do all kinds of different ideas or go through all kinds of different projects, and different ideas come all the time and go. Even with me, I'm very guilty of it as well. Like I've switched so many times what I'm going to do with different cars. I think the only thing that's been a constant is with the channel has been the Integra, just because of the fact that it's already pretty much done. It just hasn't been. I just can't put it on the road yet. But anyway, yeah. So don't stress yourself too hard. Try to pick a horsepower goal. Know what kind of power you want to make. Know how you want to make that power, and then build towards that in the easiest way possible, especially if it's your first time go, because a lot of people get disheartened, things start taking too long to come together, and it fall apart long before it gets finished. So just baby step yourself, be patient, know that a project assembly sometimes can take a very long time. All right, guys, so that's it. I'm going to have a little story following up after this. I got one more upload to make. It's actually the one I was going to do before this came to mind. So all social media links are in the description down below. I do read all my comments. A lot of times if I don't answer comments, it's because I'm really busy and I have already addressed it on the channel somewhere. Just use keywords in the YouTube search bar, guys. If you want to hear something from me, my opinion, just put VHV engines and whatever topic that you can think of that you want to ask me, and there's a very good chance that it'll pop up. You know, I'm pretty decent on using my keywords, so if you search anything within the realm of what I've already spoke about, you'll find it'll pop up on you guys. All right, you can DM me and ask me questions. Whatever you got to ask me, don't ask me to ask a question. I'm not going to answer you. Just whatever question you got, give me the full question up front, and I'll get back to you when I can. Also, Patreon is in the link down below. Patreon, all patrons that sign up. If you donate at least $1 a year, you get a 10% discount on labor and parts. Also, if you do the $20 a year, you get a 15% discount. I know it may seem like a big leap for a little jump, but these discounts do account for a lot of money when you're talking about high dollar items. So, all right, guys, so thanks for watching, and peace.